Getting a roof rack on a Sprinter van is pretty much a must, in my opinion. There's so many things that you can do with them. Obviously, it allows you to get up on the top of your van and hang out, watch sunset, have a glass of wine. Or most vans also have a fair bit of equipment that needs to be mounted to the roof, and the roof rack gives you a platform to do that all. So we've got a couple of different styles of roof racks in the shop today. And these are pretty much our favorite roof racks that we are working with right now. So I wanted to give you guys a quick tour of what we have here. And then also we're going to talk about some other types of roof racks that might work for you that we don't have. Start with this one right here, Aluminess Safari Rack. It has a full deck on the top, meaning that you can, once you climb up there, you can walk around pretty much front to back on the rack. And it has a perforated deck, so the water goes through. If it gets dirty, you can just wash it off. The Aluminess rack is actually quite a bit glossier in the powder coat finish, and that actually makes it look a little bit shinier and cleaner over time. Let's take a look up top and I can kind of show you guys what that one has. Something I wanted to mention before we get up there is that you typically want to match the ladder that you're using with the same brand of roof rack that you are going to be putting on. They don't all fit and are not interchangeable, so we basically tell people if you're going to go with an Aluminess roof rack, then you also want to do the Aluminess ladder. Same goes for the other manufacturers. They make them to work together, but they don't all work interchangeably. Keep that in mind. When you're ordering a roof rack, most of them you're going to need to know where the equipment is on the roof so that you can do a custom cutout. So this one, for instance, there's a max fan here, and we had to give these dimensions to the manufacturer so that they put in the cutout with the appropriate trim ring around it. If you look actually right here, we're cutting a custom hole to put in an air conditioner. We're gonna have to create our own trim for this, and it is possible to cut your own holes in these, but typically if you can order it in advance with the holes cut in it, that's gonna be a much better situation for most people. You can also see up here we have a solar panel mounted just in front of the fan. So that's just a 100 watt panel. There's enough room for it forward of this, which typically you wouldn't use that space for much otherwise. And all the way at the very front, we also have a light bar. We also added an awning to this roof rack, and with these brackets here that come from Fiamma, you can actually, no, I'm sorry, these actually come from Aluminess. You can mount the awning directly to the roof rack with these 3 brackets. So that's really nice. It's designed to work together, and you don't have to cut any extra holes in the roof or anything, just mounts directly to the roof rack, which is great. We've also put an Arctic Tern skylight on the back of this Aluminess rack. Once again, we had the dimensions in hand, and we handed those off to Aluminess before the rack was made so we could have this perfect cutout for the equipment on the top. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're doing a custom rack, you're gonna need to know your measurements, and most of the manufacturers will give you like a sheet where you can take a measurement off of a standard location at the back of the van and then draw your measurements forward so that they know exactly where to put these cutouts. If you have questions with that, you can always call us at Vanland and we can walk you through the process and order the rack for you to make sure that it's done right. Gotta do that one.
On to the next one.
On to the next one. This is a Flatline Vanco Safari rack. This rack is it's called a double loop style. So you can see there's actually like 2 loops of metal that go around that create sort of a cage to hold the equipment that's up there. So you can strap onto that to hold on, you know, surfboards, boxes, or pretty much anything that you want. Once again, just to keep in mind to order the correct ladder that matches the roof rack you're getting. So this is a Flatline Vanco Safari rack. We have the Flatline Vanco side ladder with it. This one's a little bit different than the Aluminess ladder in that it has like a square step instead of a round step. And the feedback we've gotten from people is that they really like the square step. It feels more comfortable on the foot to climb up and down, and probably a little bit safer. All right, so this rack is a little bit different in that you don't necessarily have to do the cutouts in it before that you purchase it. You can buy the rack bring it home and then cut out the locations where you want your fan or your skylight or air conditioner. That can all be cut out at the shop, so you don't have to pre-order it with your cutouts in it. So let's go up there and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here we are on the Flatline Vanco Safari Rack, and the first thing I wanted to mention is that the decking on this is actually quite a bit thicker material than is on the previous rack. So what that means is that they don't need as many cross members as support, and you can just cut out holes where you need them after you've already gotten the rack. So for instance, this fan cutout we did here, and the trim that basically finishes it out is provided by the manufacturer as well. So you basically cut your hole, put the trim on where you want, and then you've got your cutout. In the back, we also did one of the Arctic Tern skylight roof hatches, but we had to make our own custom trim ring to fit it. The Flatline Safari Rack comes with one of the cutouts for the fans, but if you need one for anything else, then you might have to make your own custom trim like this or have somebody do it. Something I wanted to show you guys, the finish on this one is a bit more of a flat black powder coat, so it might be hard to see what the Yeah, one of the things I wanted to show you guys was the difference in the material, like between the Aluminess and the Flatline roof racks. So this is a bit more of like a flat black powder coated finish, and it just tends to show like the dust and dirt a little bit more, whereas the Aluminess one, since it's more of a gloss finish, looks a little bit shinier. Also, the Flatline has all of these attachment points where you can lock in any of the L-track accessories. So basically, forward to back, you have like 10 different points. That just makes it really nice, so you don't have to wrap straps around the hoops themselves. It kind of gives it a cleaner look for everything that's up here. If you're looking for one of the simplest and most inexpensive options for a way to mount things on the roof without going a full roof rack, you can get something like this. These are basically solar mounting bars, and they are going to fit right into the factory rails with these attachment pieces. So you just slide this into the rail and then screw these down into it. So these are like an extremely lightweight option, and you can put on one of these, two of these, or however many you want. The ideal thing to mount on these would be something like solar panels, or if you have a rack that is going to hold like a paddleboard or a kayak or something. I will say that these ones are aluminum and they are very lightweight. They're not going to be extremely strong, so you wouldn't want to like build a deck off of this material. But yeah, just wanted to show you one more option for if you don't want to go with the full roof rack, you can use something like these crossbars and get and still be able to mount things on the roof of the van without the full roof rack.
Ready, spaghetti.
Okay, all of the roof racks that we're discussing in this episode mount to the factory roof rails. So not all Sprinter vans come with factory roof rails. It's really easy to check if yours have it. It's this U channel right here, and it's just designed to hold different components like roof racks and crossbars and everything like that. These are from the factory, so these were put in by Mercedes. There are also aftermarket channels that you can put up here. So if you don't have them, it's pretty inexpensive to do. The holes to put them in are already punched in the roof of the van, so you actually don't have to do any drilling. This is kind of typical of what the nuts look like for attaching any of these pieces of equipment into the roof rails. They slide in just like that. Finito. These were a few of the roof racks that we had in the shop here that we wanted to show you. We really like the Aluminess roof rack and the Flatline roof rack, as well as the crossbars that we showed you. But there are a few other racks that we use that we didn't have here. So I'm going to take you guys back into the office and we can sit down and show you a few of those. So come on. I did want to show you guys a few of the other roof racks that we commonly use at Vanland, but we didn't have in the shop while we were filming this video. So wanted to jump back on the computer and show you 3 different options besides the ones that we looked at already. So Flatline does make a roof rack called the Low Pro, and it's modular roof rack that's a little bit more simple in style. It gives you kind of a base to build some things off of, like you can attach your solar panels to it, or if you have like a kayak carrier, you could probably even build a simple deck in certain parts off of this roof rack. But as you can see, if you have a lot of equipment on the top and you're not going to be necessarily wanting to walk around, this is a more affordable option that can allow you to do that. Okay, the next one is the Roambuilt Safari Rack, and this is kind of the OG roof rack that's been around for quite a while. Roambuilt many years ago designed this roof rack originally, and they've updated it several times since. It's a super sturdy roof rack. It looks really great with the curved front and the different styling that they use. The Roambuilt roof rack can accommodate some of the KC style round lights, and so if you're going for that look, this is a really cool roof rack to get as well, and the quality is quite excellent. The final one I wanted to show you is by Rugged Designs, and this is a little bit of a different style. So instead of being a roof rack with a cage around it, this actually has the deck on the top, and that allows you to do some interesting things like mount equipment that's a little bit larger than the roof rack might be, so you don't have to worry about whether it fits inside the cage. So Rugged makes a really great product. As you can see, it also is designed to fit the round KC style lights, and it looks really great and also very high quality. So these are pretty much the main roof racks that we're using these days. We've definitely used a bunch of other styles in the past, but it kind of whittled things down to our favorites that we feel are a good value for the customer and also are going to be durable, long lasting, and look good on top of the van. Hope you guys have enjoyed going through and looking at a few of the roof racks that we had here in the shop, plus some of the others that we would recommend. All of these are available on our site at vanlandstore.com. And if you have any questions about your roof rack and will it work with the other equipment that you have, you can always give us a call and we can help you with that. Thanks for joining us this week, and we will see you guys again next time.